What new coaster would I add to every UK theme park? The UK has a fantastic collection of theme and amusement parks, with a number of parks targeting thrill seekers and a lot of parks also targeting themed experiences, smaller attractions and coasters for families and younger guests. With these parks, the UK has a fantastic collection of roller coasters from a wide variety of manufacturers, filling thrill coasters and some fantastic family themed experiences too. However, every park here in the UK does still have gaps within their roller coaster lineup, and if so, if I was in charge of all the major UK theme parks, what brand new coaster would I add to each UK theme park? Welcome to Coasternaut, and if you enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe for future updates and news on the UK theme park and roller coaster industry. And if you were in charge of every major UK theme park, please do tell me what new coaster you would add to each park and if you agree with my suggestions in the comments section down below. So let's start with Thorpe Park Resort. Obviously, we have Project Exodus, the brand new Mack Rides hypercoaster opening at the park in the 2024 season, and this will be the truly standout coaster that Thorpe Park desperately needs. It has a fantastic collection of coasters already, and this will be the crown jewel coaster. It will be their best coaster, full of airtime, some whippy transitions and inversions with a fantastic first drop. However, the true gap in Thorpe's coaster lineup to this day is a true airtime filled large scale wooden coaster. Something like Troy or Wodan or a load of the GCIs that are scattered throughout America would work absolutely fantastically in the area of land behind Swarm Island. Thorpe Park has many steel coasters now. It's got, an invert, it's got a launch coaster, it's got a beyond vertical drop coaster, coasters full of inversions. However, it doesn't have anything which is truly airtime based, and it doesn't have a wooden coaster. So an airtime based wooden coaster is the perfect gap to fill in Thorpe's lineup. Like I say, something like a GCI is probably better than a Gravity Group in my opinion. It has full of intense ejector airtime with some sustained floater moments too, lots of whippy transitions, turns full of laterals, and in my opinion, a large scale GCI wooden coaster would be the best new addition to Thorpe. On to Chessington World of Adventures now. They've also opened a brand new coaster recently in 2023. That's the B&M Wing Launched Shuttle Family Wing Coaster. Very weird combination of words there put into that ride. And this is a very unique coaster to the park. It features the first inversion the park scene and the first launch the park scene. However, there's still only 5 operating coasters at the park, and therefore there is a lot of new additions that they could add which would benefit their lineup. For me, it is clear that Chessington are now focusing more on the thrill market or family thrill market rather than just junior rides, and therefore a slightly more intense coaster along the same lines as Manjul Mayhem would work well. What I'm going to suggest here would be an Intamin straddle coaster similar to Javelin or some of the ones like Dark Coaster that have appeared throughout the SeaWorld chain over in America. Now, this might seem weird, like I say, it's another launch coaster, and they've just had a launch coaster, Manjul Mayhem, but this would be a slightly more intense coaster, and it wouldn't be focused on inversions. It'd be more airtime based with lots of nice transitions and turns. It'd be a longer ride experience than Manjul Mayhem, and if you put it on the opposite side of the park, then they wouldn't seem too close to each other as well. So I think, you can find a good space for this within Chessington's lineup. I think they could do with a nice family launch coaster that focuses on nice transitions and turns rather than an inversion. And I think something like Javelin would work fantastically at Chessington, especially with their theming. Sticking with the UK family theme parks, let's talk about Paultons Park now. And here I would also go for another wooden coaster. However, this time I would go for a smaller, more family based one from the Gravity Group or the Gravity Craft Corporation. So Paultons Park is obviously a more family-based park, and it's recently got the Mack Ride spinning coaster Storm Chaser, and that's sort of their standalone coaster in a lovely themed area. However, over by Cobra there is lots of free space still, their Gerstlauer bobsled, and therefore I would put a new coaster in this area of the park to sort of fill the gap between the dinosaur themed area and where Cobra and Edge are towards that left side of the park. Something airtime based would work fantastically at Paultons as well. They don't really have airtime, but not too intense like a GCI might do. Something like one of the Gravity Group family woodies like Oscar's Wacky Taxi or Kentucky Flyer. This would give a lot of young guests their first experience of airtime and would work fantastically at the park. Paultons is probably the best themed park here in the UK, and I'm sure they could give this coaster some fantastic theming and would make a family, airtime focused, small wooden coaster over near Cobra a fantastic addition to their park. Probably most people's favourite park here in the UK That's Alton Towers. What do they need? In my opinion, they need to replace Rita. Rita is their Intamin accelerator coaster, however it doesn't really do much. It sort of goes all around the layout. It's a bit of a mean coaster, and therefore, this is the only coaster in this list that I need to preface. I think they actually need to remove Rita to add this new coaster, but I think they need a really well themed sort of new Intamin multi-launch coaster, or potentially a Mack multi-launch coaster similar to Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, or something like Tara and Velocicoaster at Tutatis, something like that, low to the ground, potentially not Tutatis then, something like Tara or Tiger. Lots of nice whippy turns and transitions, super powerful launches as well. Great top speed, something like that would work fantastically for Alton, and would also replace Rita, which is one of the least popular of their major coasters at the park. Bit of a mean coaster, like I say, so I think it would be a great replacement for Rita by adding a new Intamin modern day launch coaster. If I was in charge of Oakwood, it's the only Welsh park on this list, Oakwood definitely needs another thrill coaster. The only sort of real thrill standout coaster is Megaphobia, and like I say, Megaphobia is truly the icon of this park. It's got such a picturesque first drop. People know Megaphobia from far and wide. The only CCI wooden coaster here in the UK, so I don't think they need a truly standout coaster, but they do need another thrill coaster, and definitely a coaster with inversions, because they only have, I think, 2 inversions at the park, which is on Speed No Limits. So a modern day Vekoma launch coaster, which is something that they also don't have at the park. They don't have a launch anywhere at Oakwood, so something like Formula at Energylandia, in my opinion, would work fantastically here. A not too powerful launch, not too intense either, something that's very smooth, which is what they need at Oakwood. They don't have anything which is completely smooth. Megaphobia and Speed are quite rough, so something with some nice graceful turns and transitions, including inversions, would be a fantastic addition to this Welsh park. Flamingoland has the largest collection of roller coasters here in the UK, however they have lots of inversions and they need a truly airtime focused coaster. A good wooden coaster would also work here, something from GCI as well. Up north here in the UK we don't really have any wooden coasters, so it would be very unique. It wouldn't be too close to Wickerman, it would be far enough away in my opinion, in order to make it worthwhile for the park to invest in a wooden coaster. Like I said, there's not one around this area, so something full of airtime, not focusing on inversions would be fantastic for the parks. They have plenty of inversions and they need something stand out and different, and they also don't have a wooden coaster. They have lots of junior and family coasters as well, so something slightly more thrilling in my opinion would work for the park, but they don't need a standout coaster since they added SICK, their Intamin 10 inversion coaster. So in my opinion, a GCI wooden coaster would also work fantastically up north in Flamingoland. And finally, we'll end today's video with Drayton Manor. They're getting a new Intamin family thrill coaster in 2024, one that features a lift hill and a launch, so they don't really need a launch in their park lineup anymore, and I do think they would also benefit really well from a Gravity Group wooden coaster. However, I don't want to be boring and just suggest, GCI and Gravity Group Woodies, all the parks here in the UK. If you can't tell, we don't really have many great Woodies here in the UK, or great airtime, so wooden coasters with airtime would work well in most of our parks, so I think a Gravity Group wooden coaster would work really well here. However, I'll go for something different, and I think an RMC Wild Moose that has recently been announced would actually be a fantastic addition to this park. Don't have a very big footprint, it wouldn't be too expensive, it could fit in multiple different areas around the park, it would be good for all ages, enthusiasts would love it, but it would be a great way to get some new elements experience for those younger thrill seekers, and I think an RMC Wild Moose would be fantastic for Drayton Manor. So what did you make of this video? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback down below. Do you agree with any of my suggestions for new roller coasters to be added to all of the major UK theme parks, or would you start by adding different roller coasters to all the parks? Please do let me know your parks and coasters down below. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like, it really helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.